Welcome, Veritas family. Thank you so much for joining us at Give and Take. We are kicking off our spring 2026 semester, if you can believe it. I am here joined by Dr. Mike Lester. Hi, Dr. Lester.
Hey, Sherry, thanks for letting me start off the new year with the VBC family.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you join us today. If you are watching live or in replay, be sure to tell us where you're watching from in the comments. We would love to say hello. We are going to dive right in. I know Dr. Lester has had a busy Christmas break and prior, and he's got lots of stuff to share with us. So, Dr. Lester, tell us what's on your heart with your Ministry Matters here today.
Sure, yeah. Let me start off by saying if you hear any background noise, I'm sitting in the Raleigh-Durham airport at the moment. And so I know my background doesn't foreshadow that at all, but it's the beauty of technology. But I'm sitting at the Raleigh-Durham airport, gate C7, if you want to stop by. But to all of our VBC faculty that are in this area, to our students in this area, hey, here's your shout out before I get on another plane in a few hours and head out to New Orleans area. I would also say if you are in the Gulfport, Mississippi area, I'm excited to preach at Bible Baptist Church this Wednesday night there and then speak in their Christian school there in Gulfport. But yeah, it's been a busy break, but I'm so excited to be back at school. And I hope our students feel the same way as well. I'm not sure if they do.
Yeah, it may be a little bit different perspective for them, but we're excited to be back at it, that's for sure.
I'm so excited to see these people getting ready to write all these research papers again. I know they can't wait. So
That's why they joined back up. They couldn't wait. Michael Raker is watching and he says, Hey, Sherry and Dr. Lester, watching from West Alexandria, Ohio. Thanks, Michael, for popping in. Nice to see you again.
yeah, I appreciate that. Michael is a regular in these give and takes. It's
That's
always good
right.
to have you pop in. I hope you're having a good time there in Ohio, Michael.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about just as we start the new year, and we are welcoming quite a few number of new students this spring. We've had a really strong enrollment this school year. I'm just so excited about what God is doing here at Veritas. And I've told our team, I've told our board this as well. We don't measure success by the number of students that are enrolled. What we're really concerned about is just kingdom impact. And I know that our student body shares that same heart to impact this world that is so fallen and flawed with the power of the gospel. And so it's a privilege of mine. I know our team feels the same way. It's a great privilege to be involved in training people to make that kind of impact. And I'm so glad we get to bring this type right into your living room and you get to stay plugged into the churches where God has planted you. So that's a few thoughts before we even jump into our subject today, but I just want to express my thankfulness and gratitude for our student body.
And it is, I'm glad you brought that up because I know we say it regularly here on Give and Take, but it is our privilege. It is our honor. It is something that we are passionate about to be able to come along someone's academic journey and have just a small part of whatever that looks like. It is really we're very honored to be a part of that.
Yeah. It's just one of the joys I enjoy about traveling as I represent the school is just the opportunity to rub shoulders with some of our alumni, current students, prospective students who've been sort of thinking about it for a couple of years, as some of you that are currently enrolled. I went through that process as well and trying to figure out if it's a fit
Mm.
and they balance it with life and ministry and all of that. But just encouraging people to take a step of faith. Sherry and I were talking just before we jumped to live. If you wait for the perfect environment,
Mhm.
you'll never get started. So one of the sayings that I often repeat, whether it's about a book we're writing, a class we're developing, a program we're looking to develop, I often say this, that progress beats perfection.
Mhm.
And so I think that's going to dovetail in a little bit with the resource we're going to talk about today. But Sherry, just as you think, would you share that the picture of that? I don't know if there's a meme or whatever that sort of embodied the progress. Sort of
Yeah, I'll
describe
see
it.
if I can hunt it down. It was a picture of a really wonky ladder. It was two different initiatives, and one had they all had the same amount of wood to make this ladder. And on the left side, it was really wonky, but it got there. And then the other side, it hadn't even been started. So it was a really good visual of how progress over perfection gets you to your goals.
Yeah, there's been so many times I have thought about writing something, but because it just wasn't the right time, or I didn't get the right words, or didn't have the right feel, it never got published. Then somewhere, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I was challenged with this thought that progress beats perfection. And the saying in the context of writing was, you can always do a second edition, but you can't do a second edition until you get the first edition out there.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
know that if I wait for a perfect sermon, I won't preach this Wednesday night in Gulfport. I'll just sort of have to say, I passed, Pastor, but I'm going to give my best.
Yeah.
And I hope I'll learn and become a better communicator after that event. And teaching, I hope I teach Romans now much better than I did 50 or 60 times ago when I taught it for the first time. Perfection, I may not reach it this side of heaven, but I can always make progress.
Right.
And so it's just a good philosophy to live by. I don't want the best to be the enemy of good. I guess I could say it that way as well.
Yeah, and that's super helpful, especially here at the beginning of the semester when folks are diving in, and especially for those who might be on the fence. You know, if you're wondering, if you're watching this and you're still during the drop ad window, jump in because there won't be any better time, really. You know, if you were waiting for this perfect time, it's just likely not to come. So this is really good timing. If you're hearing this, reach out to one of our team members. We are excited to answer any questions you have and get you going.
Now, that's not to say that I'm not competitive, and it's not to say I don't want perfection. I still remember an A- I got in one of my master's programs. It was an elective. I didn't have to take the class. I chose to take this class, and I got an A- instead of a B, or instead of an A, and it ruined my 4.0. And I'm not bitter about it. Not at all.
Yeah, I can see that you're not bitter about it all these years later, bringing it up.
It just popped into my head, you know. But this concept of just doing your best, you know, it's just part of life. Do your best, keep moving forward. And I think that's what we're all striving to do.
That's good.
Yeah, so I want to talk today, and I think I hope most of our VBC family have seen this. I want to talk about one of the free resources we just put out over the Christmas break. One of the things I really brings great pleasure to me when I go to churches or conferences or schools or wherever it is I'm traveling to, is that I'm not just there to take. You know, sometimes when somebody sees somebody as a recruiter for college, he's coming to take our best students. He's coming to take our best young people. And so they're on guard, you know, like families are on guard, like how far do you want to take my kids? These kind of things.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that, and not just me, any of our representatives from BBC, when we go into a church or conference or anything like that, we're not just there to quote unquote take, we're really there to give, to invest. We do that through our TMI resources. I'm excited about some of the things you'll see later on this year. We've almost got the first course recorded in Spanish. We're using some AI materials to even make some of these courses available in other languages. It's not going to be perfect. Come back to the point I started with. We're going to make progress and improve, but I'm just excited about helping missionaries literally around the world have access to free resources. But one of the free resources we put out was a book over Christmas. It was found, if you haven't seen it, here's the website, and I don't know, Sherry, if we can drop it in the comments, but the website was vbc.edu/go-forward or go-forward, I guess is what it was. It's just a book entitled Go Forward, Leading When the Path Isn't Clear. And if you go to that link, there's a quick form. I think there's 3 questions, name, address, or no, name and maybe it's just 2 questions, your name and email. And then we email you a free copy of that book. And we've had, I don't know, I think a little over 500 downloads of that book. We've had comments from Ethiopia, from Australia, from Europe, from many of the states in between, just people who've already read it. We just put it out on Christmas Day, but they've already read it and are commenting about how it just sort of hit them right where they live. And so right now, you may be a student and maybe you don't have a lot of leadership responsibility. And so you may think the book is not for me. But in reality, we are leading a ministry or an organization. We're leading our family, or we're leading ourselves. And so I think from that standpoint, there's principles here that are just really, really helpful. So I just want to stop for a moment, share any comments on that before we dive into it. But the book
What
is Go
what
Forward.
what encouraged you, or what was the impetus for you to make the book? Was this something that you had gone through and you thought, oh man, I'd love to have a resource in this area, or what was the driving force?
Yes, so I was actually teaching an online small group with my son-in-law in Connecticut. And then we were teaching through the book by Robert J. Morgan, called The Red Sea Rules. Great book, by the way, Red Sea Rules. And we were teaching through Exodus 14. And in that particular chapter, reading through it out loud, there's a verse where Moses is just like, I'm looking at the Red Sea in front of me, and I'm looking at the Egyptian army behind me. And then as he's praying, here's what God says. It's not what you expect. I mean, you expect it because you know the end of the story, but you wouldn't expect it per se if you're living it. But basically, as Moses is there praying to the Lord, here's what God says. Yeah, tell the people to go forward.
Hmm.
And so as I read those two words, those two words, go forward, just
Yeah.
jump. I've read that verse probably over 100 times, frankly.
Right.
But in that particular moment, teaching it live online, it's like, oh, I made a quick note. I need to come back to that.
Yeah.
And I just began to think through different points of ministry life and married life and whatever, just thinking about different points you come to. Like, I don't know the next step. Difficulty with a family member, how to know when to move to the next ministry. And then basically tried to reverse engineer the decisions that I made with a lot of counsel that people gave me at the moment. I tried to reverse engineer it to make it sort of linear. And then it just flowed. I think I wrote this book in about 2 weeks. It's sort of amazing for me. Like normally I'm like months and months into something, but this one flowed. The Lord just kept replenishing thoughts, and I felt like it was more of a conversation, not like a textbook, just a conversation. If I could sit with you and look back over 30 plus years of ministry, what are some things we learned the hard way that we wish somebody would have told us?
Well, and I think that that's
That's
probably the best case scenario for the topic, because if something's too heady or too heavy, when you're really trying to get to the next direction or gaining some perspective, having it a real easy read, conversational style, I think that's going to be very helpful for folks. And every person
yeah,
is on some kind of precipice, right? There's some big decision that's on the horizon. So
yeah.
I know it's
It's
been
either
helpful.
facing you at the moment or it's just around the corner. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So
Yeah, that's good. That's
basically,
interesting.
yeah, I took the process and broke it into 3 steps, and this was primarily from the standpoint of leading a team. But step number 1, the first phase, if you will, and there's steps underneath this you can see in the book. But the first phase was more about getting the real picture. I don't know about you, Sherry. I know for me, sometimes if I feel like I'm right in the middle of something that's pressing, I can be overwhelmed and I can tend to over exaggerate how big the problem is. Like I
Yeah.
can start to just feel overwhelmed, like, oh man, I've never faced anything like this. Oh goodness, I doubt anybody's faced anything like this.
Yeah.
And and so it's just not leading from the emotion, but coming back and just gathering the facts and giving a true assessment. It doesn't mean the situation isn't hard. Doesn't mean
Right.
the decision is difficult. It just means we don't want to be running into this all emotionally driven. Like the old Dragnet show, just the facts, ma'am. But just gathering the facts. So stage 1 is just basically gathering the facts and getting the real picture.
What does that look
Seeing
like for you practically? Are you like a ledger sheet? You've got like the yellow notebook, or what does that mean? Gathering the facts, and then what are you doing with it?
Yeah. So when Jen and I were praying about moving from California, we were there 26 and a half years. So when I went there, I think I was 23 or something like that. And, just out of college, had a job for a year. And, we basically thought we're going here for life. We'll be here when the rapture comes, and we're leaving from California. And so when God began to stir about something different, that was really, really hard.
Yeah.
I think it was easier, frankly, I think it was easier to move as a newlywed
Mm.
from Georgia to California
Mhm.
than it was 26 years later as nearly a 50-year-old at the time to move from there back to Michigan and now Connecticut. I
Yeah.
think part of that is, you have 5 kids,
Yeah.
they've got friends, you've got roots,
Yeah.
change isn't as easy then. And so when we sat down, one of the exercises we did was we put a list together of pros and cons. What are the pros of following this decision that we feel like God is leading us? And what are the repercussions?
Mm-hmm.
And then, we're trying to discern if this is God's will or if it was just maybe, is this an emotional decision or is really
Right.
God trying us? And so that forced us to think. And then it was trying to get some feedback from people who had gone through similar situations. Hey,
Right.
I don't necessarily want you to counsel me through how to do this. I just want to know what that process looked like for you. I think I'm maybe on a similar journey, but I'm not sure. I'd just like to hear sort of the process you went through. And so gathering some data that way. And then reaching out to my parents. My dad's retired pastor now, has pastored, I think he's pastored for close to 50 years. And then my father-in-law has been a deacon in his church and just a lot of godly wisdom. So, there's going through this process of a ledger, but then there's hearing trusted voices as well. And then there's just having your close friends who are right there, who see you in the moment.
Yeah.
Hey, give me an honest perspective. Am I seeing this right? Do you see this the same way? And just trying to make sure I'm just hearing external validation.
Yeah, that's a really good, it's so important. The Bible talks about the wisdom of going and getting good counsel. And so you've gotten different perspectives of people who know you well, people who have maybe they know you maybe not as well, but they've gone through a similar situation, and you have you've done all the due diligence. And I think that's great to start. I mean, I really think there's something to be said with the Lord just putting on your heart, just the fact that it's there. The hard part is discerning whether this is the emotional aspect or if this is really there for a purpose.
Yeah. Stage 2 talks about actually making the decision itself. So you've gathered all this data, but then you do have to make the decision. You can't just you can't be on a fact gathering venture for the rest of your life.
Forever. But
one of the things I say in there, because you just brought this up about safety in the multitude of counselors, I make the statement that yes, there is safety in the multitude of counselors, but not all counsel is equal.
Sure.
Counsel isn't to be counted, it's to be weighed. So it's not just tallying up how many people agree with me. Okay, there's one for me. Oh, one for you. Two more for me. This is looking my way. But it needs to be weighed.
Because, and to that point, because the danger would be you only go to the people are going to give you the answer you want to hear.
Yeah, yep.
And so if you're just counting the numbers of people, this cohort of people they're yes men, or they're going to tell you what you want to hear, then you're going to only go over here. Yeah, that's really good.
I use the illustration of Solomon's son, Rehoboam. So Rehoboam has just taken over the kingdom, and almost immediately, this is where the Old Testament reading sometimes gets confusing, because you have sometimes same names and you have rhyming names. So you have Jeroboam coming to Rehoboam. I keep all this straight in your mind, right? And Jeroboam basically gives an ultimatum. Hey, Rehoboam, if you'll treat us fairly, then these 10 tribes are going to follow you as well. So he asks for some time, and he goes to the people who counseled his father, Solomon. And they're like, make the concession. Do this. This is a wise thing to do. He says, okay, let me get some more counsel. So he goes to his peers, those that he'd grown up with, those that are his own age. And they're like, no, you need to show strength and power. And you just need to tell the guy, get on the bandwagon or else. And so he sought counsel, but those counsels weren't equal. And so he followed the counsel of the younger people. And as a result, we have the divided kingdom for the rest of the Old Testament until the 10 tribes are taken captive into Assyria. So I use that as an illustration that, get counsel, but don't treat them all equal.
Sure.
Weigh them. And weighing to me is like looking at spiritual maturity. Yeah. And looking at longevity. Sherry, I don't know if you ever felt this way. It was easier for me when you get started in ministry, because everybody's ahead of you. Yeah. And nobody's coming to me for counsel when I'm, 25. Like, nobody cares. Yeah. But now I'm sort of in this stage where we've been in ministry for 31 years. Yeah. Now people are coming to you for counsel, and in your mind, I'm still this young guy. Like, your body. Who am I? Who am I? And then your body says, no, Mike, you've got a little bit of mileage on your body. Right. But then there's so many areas of my life where I'm still reaching out to the people that I want counsel from. Yeah. And then I stop and I think about it. wow, the people that I'm getting counsel from are now 60s and 70s. Yeah, I don't know if you feel that way sometimes, but
Yeah, I
you
do.
know,
In fact, it was really humbling when people, especially in counseling situations, would ask questions, and I'm like, all right, who am I? How, And then I thought, too much is given, as much expected. And so I really had to come to grips with like, they're these people need help. And who's better in this position to, if they're coming to me, they're hurting and this and that. And so I totally understand where you're coming from. Hey, Anne's watching from Kentucky. She says, love that shirt with the new logo, Sherry. Thanks so much, Anne. Would you post the link to the store if you're still watching? Otherwise, I'll do it at the end, and we have new merchandise there, but I want to get back to, and then Alyssa Sultanic is watching from Virginia. Thanks, guys, for popping in.
yeah, thanks for coming in. I don't know if we officially announced we have a new logo. I'm glad Ann brought that up.
Yes.
We've sort of let it be felt. It's better felt than telt.
Yeah.
And so if you've been following us on social media, you've seen some new designs, a little tweaking of some of the colors, and some of the branding has been a little bit stronger on our social media. We're just positioning ourselves to try to be better communicators. We feel like not everybody can come to Veritas, but we
Yeah.
feel like everybody should at least hear about it and have it as at least an opportunity to pray about.
That's right.
And then we just launched this new store right around Christmas time. And
Mhm.
we've had quite a few. I don't know if you've been following some of the metrics. We've had quite a few people jumping in. And I have a 3/4 zip. I've got it with me. It's in a suitcase right now, but
You know
I've
what?
got a
If you
3/4
are
zip.
a faculty member, because I know a lot of our faculty hopped in. Brother Wagner's on right now in North Carolina. If you were a faculty member watching this and you bought from the store, drop us a link of what you actually purchased so that everybody can see what you liked and what everybody got. I'm curious to see what everybody was purchasing while they're in the store.
I
Jerry
got a navy
Dunwoody
blue.
is watching from Dubai. Now, Jerry, I think you get the longest viewer, furthest away viewer prize, at least today anyway. Thanks for popping in, Jerry.
So my question for Jerry is, what time is it in Dubai right now?
Ooh, good
And
question.
so,
Good trivia.
yeah. So if you hear that, Jerry, jump in. I'd be curious to know. I've got a navy blue button-up long-sleeve shirt with the logo that I'm going to
Okay.
wear at this Christian school on Thursday. So yeah, just and some cool stuff there that I'm real excited about. I hope you'll take advantage of it. Store.vbc.edu, pretty easy to remember.
Dr. Wagner says he didn't purchase yet one less thing to pack because he's moving back to Tampa.
He's
So he
moving
doesn't want
back to Florida.
he doesn't want to
Dr.
have to
Wagner,
pack it.
Dr. Wagner, your name came up, I think, 2 or 3 different times this weekend with current students and former students. I must say, appreciate your classes. And I said, man, we need to just take a picture up here in Connecticut of all the people that have sat in your classes. You're making an impact. I'm glad we get to partner together. And I came here to North Carolina to see you, and you decided to move to Tampa. So whatever.
That's
Okay.
why he's gone. That's what he said. I'm out of here before he gets there. Jerry in Dubai says 9:22. So they're 9 hours ahead from the Eastern
Okay.
time.
All right. Yeah. Good. Well, thanks for watching.
Oh, that's
One of the
fun.
things I say in this second stage as well is when it comes time to make the decision, don't hedge your bets.
Hmm.
Make the decision and own it.
Yeah.
Don't pull an Adam. Yeah, I didn't really want to, but the woman you gave me,
Yeah.
and then Eve, I didn't really want to, but the serpent you made type thing. But
Yeah.
just make a decision and then own it. And
Go for
don't
it.
have a
Yeah.
plan B. If go forward. Yeah,
Yeah.
not sideways, go forward.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
the
that's
final
good.
stage of the book is just basically how do you communicate this to your team? So I'm speaking primarily to leaders, and often we're in this moment of indecision and we're wrestling with the Lord and we're getting counsel, but the people we're leading don't have that advantage. And so sometimes we've gone through a process, sometimes of a couple months, and we just come down and say, boom, here it is.
Yeah.
But they haven't had time to process it. So
Right.
I deal with some of that. One of the things I say is give a path, not a promise.
Hmm.
And I do that to protect us as leaders, and also do it to protect the integrity of the name of God.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have leaders who say, if we do this, God is going to do this. And so it's presumption.
Yeah.
It sounds like faith, but it's presumption.
Hmm.
And then what if God doesn't do that? So now you put a question mark in people's minds about the integrity of God, or a question about your integrity as a leader. So give a
Sure.
path. Like, here's a path. Hey, I don't know. I think I know where the end result is. But I just know this is the next step. And this is
Yeah,
the
and I
path
think
we're
that
on.
this particular step allows for, I guess all of them, but this in particular has a great deal of humility. When you're presenting to the team, it's like, look, I really feel like the Lord is leading us in this direction, but just know that I don't have all the answers, and it could go awry here, and we're going to face this, and we're going to do this. But I think that probably selling it to the team, like you said, if you got to bring them along in the process, But leaving it open for, hey, I'm doing the best I can, and there might be some hiccups along the way, but we're going to go forward.
One of the chapters is entitled "Don't Shoot the Naysayers." So you just understand some people are wired to be a little contrary.
Yes.
It doesn't mean they're disloyal. It doesn't mean they're against you. It just means they're just checking all the boxes and making sure that you've thought through it. And
Yeah.
you don't need to necessarily exercise authoritarian leadership and say, just
Sure.
follow me, bless God. Give
Yeah.
people room you had room to make the decision, give them
That's right.
room to accept it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the project. I'm excited how God's using it already. I hope it blesses many, many more. I was really grateful that at Veritas we were able to make that as a free resource. There's no charge. Just go download the book. It's about 175, 200 pages, and just enjoy it. I'm glad we have that kind of a spirit.
Yeah, we're going to link that here in the comments as well. So if you're just hopping in, Dr. Lester was just talking about the book that we just published and put as a free resource through Veritas. So we're going to put the link there. Be sure to tell us if you have read it or if you can send it to a friend who might be in the middle of just such an occasion where you're having to make big decisions and not sure exactly what to do next. Dr. Lester, as we wrap up here, what would you suggest for somebody, a student or a faculty member or a possible partner with Veritas to just get involved? Maybe they've been thinking about it. What's the next step? What would you encourage them to do?
Are you talking about in the standpoint of becoming a student or helping us with projects or?
All of it. So you're talking about go forward. And so maybe there's somebody in various levels that are contemplating how to be involved with Veritas. Could be student, could be a faculty member who's like, man, I'd love to get involved. What kind of advice would you have for somebody?
So if somebody's looking to get involved from a financial sponsorship, partnership with us, and I love the word partnership. I hate the word transaction. I don't look for somebody who just wants to make a transaction. I love the fact we can partner together, and God gives us vision and God gives us strategy. And then God also blesses some people with finances to help fund it. You see this even in Jesus's earthly ministry. There were people, a lot of times, godly women financing Jesus's 3-year ministry. So if God puts something like that on your heart, here's one thing I really am passionate about. That's our Global Ministry Leadership Scholarship. So here's, I think if you do your research, people don't choose Veritas just for a price point, but we do try to be very, very competitive. And we do try to hold to the fact of being flexible and affordable. And so we work really, really hard about trying to keep prices down because we want Christian education to be accessible to anyone God's called. But the reality is, people outside of the Western world, it doesn't matter what our threshold is, they can't pay it. They just can't pay that kind of money. They don't make that much even in a month to pay for it. So what the Lord put on our heart about a year ago was to establish a scholarship fund, a funded scholarship fund. That is basically a fund that we can use to go to missionaries who have trained somebody to be the next pastor, and they would like to give them some official training. Let's remove the barrier. It's not 100% scholarship. That we still believe there's value in somebody putting some real, personal responsibility behind their education as well. But we don't want it to be cost prohibitive. And so I know that some of our listeners have done that. And I know even at the beginning of the year, we had a couple of good-sized gifts came in just for that. But if God was tugging on your heart to say, I'd really like to help Veritas with their mission, I really would love to get into, like Jakarta, for example. Jakarta, I had the privilege of going there a year and a half ago, and just some really, really sweet Christian people that work in a Christian school. And if I were to say over our webcast what they pay, it would be embarrassing, even by their standard. Obviously, the cost of living is going to be different, but I mean, even by the standard of where they're at. And so I told these people there, I said, give us time. But I believe the Lord's going to provide us an opportunity to reach back out. And I hear this also from people that are in the Philippines, that God's doing a great work in the Philippines right now. And yet sometimes training isn't always readily accessible. So we just like to try to we'd like to bring proven leaders, not just to people that are right here, but people around the world, at least English, and then we'll see what God does outside of English later.
Well, we are talking about those around the world. So we got Denny watching from Antigua. Hey, Denny, I'm sure you are very fatigued having a newborn in the house. He probably hasn't had much sleep there. We got Leo watching from Romania. Thanks for popping in, Leo. And Alyssa's putting on the book resource for us. Thanks so much for doing that. It says
Thank
claim
you.
your free copy here. Thanks for doing that, guys.
And
Tyler
Mike, I
and
guess,
Ayla watching from North Carolina.
and hey, I'm in your neck of the woods, not too far away. So
There you go.
I guess if I were to ask, sort of wrap up some things that are just on my heart, here's some things I would ask for. I would ask that the people that are familiar with Veritas, would you share some of these free resources with people that they can be blessed by it? TMI.vbc.edu, that's our Truth Matters Institute. There's about 50 classes that are there. And we have, I think, somewhere around 2,500 people worldwide that take advantage of those classes in a year, different times of the year, people jumping in. But there's no cost. It's basically the classes that, it's the same lecture material on our Canvas site. It's just like considering auditing it. So if somebody just wants the material, they just want personal development, or maybe they want to use it for their homeschool Bible curriculum.
Mhm.
Or a small group, a curriculum, or maybe there's a church staff that would like to go through something together, maybe a leadership course.
We've even
There's
seen it where a coach from basketball team made
Yep,
their
yep.
basketball team go through the Old Testament survey together. So it's been used in a
So
lot of
many
different
different,
ways.
yeah, so many different applications. I got a picture late last year of a church in the Tampa area, sent a picture they'd taken on a Wednesday night because they're going through one of our classes as a Wednesday night group at their church. And so they took a picture of everybody on their first night. It was encouraging to see. And so spread the word. We love making things available we want to have an impact for the kingdom. The other thing is share the book resource. Let people know about it. It's a free book. There's no catch. We're not going to come hound you. Ha ha, ha, now we know who you are. We're not going to let you go. And we're going to find your address and come knock on your door. It's really just a free resource. And I hope it'll bless people. The other thing I would mention as an ask, if you know people at your church or in your circle of friendships that have a desire to serve the Lord with their life, would you tell them about Veritas? And would you even consider sharing their name with us so we could reach out and begin a conversation with them? We would love to help people follow God's calling in their life. That's what we're here for. Nothing gives us greater joy than to partner with people in their journey of pursuing God's will for their life. So those are, I guess that'd be my three asks. And then the takeaway I would hope people would take from today's give and take is that sometimes the path isn't clear. And we sort of scouted out a few of those principles, but I pray that you dive into that free resource and sort of get some clarity on what to do when it seems like clarity isn't available.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, thanks so much for joining us today. I know you were en route elsewhere, and so thanks for taking time out of your day to be a part of this kicking off the spring 2026 semester. We're thrilled for any of you who are watching, and thrilled for those of you who will watch later. Be sure to check out these resources and reach out to us. Again, we can't stress it enough. It is our passion and our pleasure to be able to help you in your academic journey. Whatever the Lord's laid on your heart, we're here to help you. So thank you so much, and we will see you next week, same time. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody. Thank you.